StadiumDB.com presents World Cup 2030 Stadiums beat Spain, Portugal, Morocco. Hello! The times, they are a-changing. A whole previous concept has been blown to pieces. We have just prepared materials in which we presented the candidates of Spain, Portugal with Ukraine and Morocco separately to host the World Cup in 2030. But it has been announced that the Iberian countries will be putting forward a joint candidacy with Morocco, unfortunately at the expense of Ukraine, which withdrew. This turn of events has caused a bit of a revision in the stadium issue, so we have prepared an update. With the addition of Morocco, the number of arenas in Spain has been reduced and the stadium landscape has been transformed. So we invite all stadium freaks to an update on one of the bids to host the 2030 World Cup. But before we focus on the point, we would like to ask you to subscribe and click the bell and like buttons. A comment below the video would also be appreciated. Thanks! The change means that the distances between football facilities have been significant. Capacity 46,048. Agadir. The city is located on the edge of the mountain range, so the terrain here changes dynamically and the stadium was designed to resemble the surrounding hills. Earth embankments are covered with the stone steps, blending the stadium into the landscape and giving it an interesting geometry through the stepped facades. The planned redevelopment involves fitting the arena with an interesting roof supported by slender masts. Grand Stade de Marrakech. Capacity 69,565. Marrakech. The venue was built about 11 kilometers from the city center, and it must be said that it is extremely distinctive. In the desert landscape, it looks like a fortress, not coincidentally. Its appearance is intended to be reminiscent of fortifications on the one hand and of local architecture on the other. Ahead of the World Cup, the arena is set to undergo a major expansion, which will increase its capacity by almost 25,000 seats. Grand Stade de Casablanca. Capacity 93,000. Casablanca. This planned giant would most likely host the opening match and the final. Once completed, the stadium would become one of the largest on the continent. Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium. Capacity 46,500. Rabat. Opened in the early 1980s, the stadium in the capital has not undergone any major redevelopment in its history, but was extensively modernized in 2001. Among other things, it received individual seats. The World Cup renovation plan proposes the full roofing of the arena's stands. Fez Stadium. Capacity 46,092. Fez. The stadium in Morocco's third largest city was officially opened in 2007, although construction had begun back in 1994 and had taken 9 years. The facility has an athletics track and its most striking feature are 4 slanted concrete floodlight towers. As part of the upgrade, the stadium is to gain a canopy that will cover most of the stands. Ibn Battuta Stadium. Capacity 65,000. Tangier. The stadium was inaugurated in 2011 after 9 years of construction and was already labeled outdated when it opened. The stands are placed a long way from the pitch, surrounded by a running track, and the open arches caused heavy draughts with the offshore wind. Between 2020 and 2023, the sectors on the edges were expanded to equal the height of those along the pitch. The modernization increased the capacity of the stadium up to 20,000, and the additional stands were ready for the Club World Cup to be played in February 2023. Oujda Stadium. Capacity 55,000. Oujda. The original plans called for the stadium to have a capacity of 10,000 fewer seats, but now it looks like the concept has changed. The stadium will be one of the greenest in Africa, generating more electricity than it consumes. At the moment, it is not clear what the stadium will ultimately look like. And with that, we have reached the end of our presentation, in which we leaned into Spain, Portugal and Morocco joint bid to host the 2030 World Cup. Make sure to have your say in the comments if you would like the World Cup to be hosted in these countries. Also click on the bell, because that way you won't miss our next content, which is already in the pipeline. Thanks and see you soon!